What then about Santa Claus? Santa Claus, Ikhwan, also known as Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas actually, Ikhwan, was Turkish. That he was an individual who was born in an area in Turkey, approximately in the year 270 Christian era, and he was involved, Ikhwan, he was one of those who were involved and was a participant in the Council of Nicaea. If any of you have done any looking into the Bible and how the Bible was changed and so on, you will know that in the year 325 Christian era, there was a council or a big shura meeting, if you like, in and among Christendom, where they brought individuals, all of the high priests within Christendom together. The Roman Empire, the Roman Emperor Constantine, he was sick of the fighting that had taken place after the death, or after the ascent of Isa ibn Maryam, after the ascent of Isa ibn Maryam. What happened, Ikhwan, in and among Christendom was that Christians split. After Isa ibn Maryam had ascended, Christians split into three groups. There was a group who said that the one who was with us was God himself. There was a second group who said that the one who was with us was the very Son of God. And there was a third group who said, in fact, the one who was with us was a prophet of God. And they were known as the Yaqubiyyah. They were known as the Yaqubiyyah. The first two groups came together and fought against and killed the majority of the Yaqubiyyah, those who held and maintained that it was not the Son of God, it was not God himself, but that it was a prophet of God. And so what happened very quickly after the ascent of Isa ibn Maryam, those who held that he was only a messenger, they were killed other than a few of them. But some of those beliefs, the belief that he was God himself, or the belief that he was a son of God or a messenger of God, caused difference in and among Christendom, and you had individuals who did not accept that he was a son of God. And those individuals, Ikhwan, would be crucified and they'd be burnt at the stake. And because of the fighting and the killing that took place in and among Christendom, the Roman Emperor at that time decided that he is going to bring Christians together, high priests and people of importance among Christendom together. He was going to unite them under one roof, and then they were going to codify the Bible. That is, we're going to remove from the Bible that which is creating the problems, that which causes you to have the opinions that you have, and that which causes you to have your position. We're going to remove it from the Bible, and we're going to unite upon one book that is not the cause of differing and fighting among you. And so they removed a number of the books of the Bible, the Maccabees, they removed many of the books, the Apocryphas, many of the books were removed from the Bible, those books that they considered incongruent with the message of the Bible. And so when those books were removed, the rest of Christendom were united upon this one book that, as far as they were concerned, had one message. And that occurred and took place in the year 325 Christian era. One of the main and the most active and the most superior of the people of knowledge who were present at that time was this Nicholas from Turkey, and he went on to become a saint, and he was given this title of Saint Nicholas. But that was very late. In fact, it wasn't until the 19th century that he was considered a saint. In any case, Saint Nicholas was the one, Ikhwan, who was considered the origin of Santa Claus. It should be known that Santa Claus and the term was something that was incorporated again into the whole affair of the celebration of Christmas, the name Santa Claus being given to him was actually, there was a Dutch individual, and he was actually a Dutch a writer in a magazine and cartoonist, and he used to draw cartoons of St. Nicholas, and he would call him Santa Claus, which is Dutch in origin. At that time, up until the 18th century, he was considered, or when he was drawn, he wasn't actually considered jolly at all. Yani, they would depict him as a short man bent over with a long white beard, short man who used to wear a large black cloak. There was no red cloak, Ikhwan, as we see in this nice rosy cheeked man. Rather, it was an old man who was bent over, and he was known to be quite harsh. In fact, he was known to discipline children. And not only known to discipline children, but he was known to beat the living daylights out of children. He was known for that. And that is why when you hear in the famous song, you better not pout, you better not cry. I'm telling you why. Why? Because Santa Claus is coming to town. Because if you were unruly, it was believed that Santa Claus will beat the living daylights out of you. And that was the picture and the image that was given to Santa Claus at that time. So how then did Santa Claus become this happy picture and figure that we now see them depicting him as? Believe it or not, Ikhwan, it was Coca-Cola. It was Coca-Cola in the early 19th century, in the early 1900s. After they had, because it was by law, they had to remove, Coca-Cola originally had cocaine within it. It actually had a small trace of cocaine within it, and that's what gave it the kick. They replaced it with caffeine. It wasn't quite the same, and so their sales began to drop. And so they needed a marketing campaign that would bring them back into popularity and cause their sales to soar again. And so their marketing campaign revolved around Santa Claus and St. Nicholas. And so what they did was they did a series of cartoons depicting Santa Claus and St. Nicholas as a cheerful fellow, as a happy fellow, drinking, you guessed it, Coca-Cola. And that it was Coca-Cola, instead of this old, decrepit, horrible man that used to beat children, he is now a nice guy because he's drinking Coca-Cola. And so instead of the black cloak that he was ordinarily depicted in, they changed his black cloak for a Coca-Cola style red coat. And that was where the red garment came in, and the happy, cheerful Santa Claus that we see. Similarly, as far as him being upon or having flying horses or what have you, or reindeers and what have you, that similarly came from that god that pagan god that was known for giving out gifts, that she was depicted as being an individual who used to fly in the sky on horses. And so they incorporated that into the whole image of Santa Claus, changed changed the horses for reindeers, and thus, Ikhwan, we had the birth of Santa Claus as we know him. And that, Ikhwan, is how Santa Claus and how he was incorporated into the whole of the Christian festivities and the celebration of Christmas.